This is Dudes Who Bet Sports. Dudes Who Bet Sports, it's your favorite show. Dudes Who Bet Sports, where degenerates go. Dudes Who Bet Sports, time to change your approach with Aaron Holzman and his father, the coach. Let's ride.
Well, the Associated Press is full of shit.
What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Dudes Who Bet Sports Show, special edition Oaklawn. First Oaklawn show of the meet. We're going to be covering Oaklawn all season long. We're going to kick it off today. Papa Dude, are you ready for Oaklawn?
You better believe it, man. We wait for this day, and now, it comes, 6, 7, 8 weeks sooner than it used to.
Sure is different, isn't it?
Yeah, second year. They've started in December. They didn't used to start till the 20th of January, 23rd. And, it's just extended the season, and 2-year-olds now can run in that last month where they used to not have any 2-year-old races, and worked out really well last year. We kind of thought that, because of the weather, they may get more cancellations, because they usually get a few cancellations because it's cold in Arkansas in January and December and February and all through the spring, really. But it didn't happen much last year. So let's hope they can get lucky again. And yeah, it's really great to have it going.
Hopefully they do get lucky with the weather. Usually their cancellations come in February anyway, so there's not a whole lot you could do about that, and it's definitely different. Usually Martin Luther King weekend is when they would open, and their first Kentucky Derby prep race would be on Martin Luther King Day. Mm-hmm. And now it's like I said, we get it early. It was actually, I think it was like the first weekend in December last year, moved back now to the second weekend in December. I like it. I think it's awesome. And listen, if you got the horses and you got the horses that can fill the entry box, there's no reason not to start a little bit early. If you're Oaklawn, December is kind of a dead month anyway. Yep. So to have it back is just a breath of fresh air.
Right. And they've never had any trouble getting the horses.
No.
Fill the fields. The fairgrounds probably doesn't like them opening this early. And it does hurt Remington Park a little bit for their last week or so. That overlaps about a week.
Yeah.
Remington, Oaklawn. Of course, some of the horses from Remington have already left and went to Oaklawn.
Yeah.
So that hurts Remington a little bit, but not that much. And then later on in the spring, it hurts because they go all the way into May now. Hurts a couple of other tracks, but that's the way it is. And it's fun to get there. That's our favorite track. That's one I can sit and watch from the first race to the last,
Yeah, it's always entertaining. They do a very good job on the simulcast feed as well. If you're not being able to be there live, listen, my first race, 2007 Arkansas Derby, was at Oaklawn Park. First track I visited for a while was Oaklawn Park. We would go, every year before I branched out. I know Oaklawn was your first track as well. Do you remember what race was the first time you ever went? Was it just a random weekend?
It was like first of all, we didn't know anything about it. Nothing.
No.
I mean, I was totally clueless about horse racing. I didn't know anything. I thought those horses just ran there and that was it. Mm-hmm. I knew the season closed, and it was a short season. I knew that. That was it. So we went on a Thursday, Friday the first time, which, by the way, if that's the first time you are going to a track and you don't really know what's going on, I highly recommend you don't go on a Saturday. It's just too crowded on a Saturday usually. So there wasn't very many people there. And, you kind of got yourself broke in a little bit as to what was kind of going on, although you didn't really know. So that's, the race, there weren't any big races on those 2 days. And I wouldn't have known whether it was a big race or not.
Right.
The truth. Yeah. But I can remember we sat upstairs and it was nice and it was great. And for the last 2 races, we went down, I think, just to leave more than anything else, and didn't even know the paddock was right there where those horses come in and you saddle them.
Yeah.
And, that was really cool. And then it just kind of, once I got involved in it and I kind of liked it, I just started to study it. And it's fascinating. It's a fascinating sport. There's so many things that goes on, so many angles you could play. It just, the more you get into it, the harder it is, I think. So this is a hard track to pick as well.
It seemed like your first big race was when Zenyatta was there the first time.
No, I wasn't there then.
You weren't there then? I thought you were. Maybe that was somebody else I knew. I don't know. It seems like your first race, you saw somebody decent. The first big race. I can't remember who it is.
No, to be honest, my recollection anyway was, I was between Smarty Jones and Curlin.
Mm-hmm.
Smarty Jones was 2004, I believe. Fleet Alex was 2005.
Yep.
I started going in 6.
Okay.
And then you and I went when Curlin won the Oaklawn or the Arkansas Derby, and I think that was 07. I believe that was my second year of going. So that was the best horse I remember seeing. There might have been some others. I didn't know who they were.
Right.
But I was into it then and following it daily. So I watched Curlin win the Rebel and then come to win the Arkansas Derby. So I knew who he was. But that's, in the early going, I didn't know who these horses were. I have a clue. But
maybe you were there when 8 Bells won too.
That could be. That could very
it was 8 Bells now that I think of it.
The first 2 or 3 times I went, I didn't have any idea who any of them were.
Yeah.
And I just didn't. I didn't understand allowances. I didn't understand maidens. I figured out what a maiden was.
Right.
But it took me a while to understand the difference between a $10,000 claimer and an allowance race, and how you jump from one class to the next. And, that's what you learn as you go along. But by the second year, I was studying it every day.
Right.
And keeping track of who was winning, who the trainers were that were winning the most, who the jockeys were. And once you start doing that, you start figuring it out. And then Curlin came and won the Rebel, and you knew when you went to see him, he was something else. But I did not see him win the Rebel. I saw it on TV. Yeah. I remember that day when we went, there was another horse. Oh, what was his name? The owners are from Springfield. I think it was named Tuffelsberg or something like that.
Teufelsberg. Yeah.
Yeah. And that was a horse that won the Southwest, I believe, that year. That horse was in it. I remember sitting by a guy on the bench because we got there very early that day.
Yep.
And we were sitting there and he gave us a few pointers, or gave me, and he said something about that horse. His regular rider wasn't there that day. He had gone somewhere else. And
he was at Keeneland. Yeah, I remember this. Yep.
He said that's a tip that you don't bet that horse today because he doesn't think he's going to win.
Yeah.
So that's when you start accumulating knowledge as you go along. You learn a little bit of something every time you go.
And he's gone. And you learn that he left. So, yeah, but what he was saying was you definitely learn. And Oaklawn is a place where it's a very friendly community and people are always around and you're back.
I don't know what happened. It just went blank.
Anyway, I was going on that it's a very friendly community at Oaklawn and you get to know people. And like I said, people are very, quick to kind of teach new people how to do it. And so,
one time I went and I was sitting upstairs and this nice guy was sitting in front of me and he was a professor or a big time person in the veterinary school at Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
And I had my OU stuff. Anyway, he had gone a lot. And I sat with him that day, and I learned a lot from him. I didn't learn how to pick a race, though. Neither one of us got a race that day. But, and the first time I ever went, didn't make a lot of money, but got about 4 of them right. I think that happens to a lot of people.
Yeah.
The first time they go, I think they get lucky and they hit a couple. And then, man, you think you know everything and you don't know anything. So it's a cool place.
Yeah, we're talking about Curlin and Smarty Jones was Shottie's first race. She was only 8 years old, she said. And the great horses that we've seen, the Zenyatas, Rachel Alexandra, American Pharaoh, Curlin. You can
Justify.
Yeah, you could go on and on and on about the horses that you've seen there at Oaklawn Park. It's really quite incredible. All right. Well, let's get it off and let's kick it off and let's get talking about the races that are going to happen this year. I'll pull up the screen now. We're going to start Friday with the feature race. And so we'll go Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and we'll do the feature races plus a bonus race here to kick off the Oaklawn section of the show. Let's go to Friday. Let's go to race 8. It's the Advent Stakes. And it is a 5.5 furlong race, $150,000 purse for the 2-year-olds. Field of 9, a horse we both like. The big favorite, number 5, Tyler's Tribe, is back in this spot. Are you going to go with him, or are you looking elsewhere?
Well, if you'll notice, the horse is 3 to 5. Okay. But if you go beside his name where it says Tyler's Tribe, you see an I and an A, which means this horse was bred in Iowa. And that's another thing you learn as you go through this. Iowa breds don't stand up in mixed company.
Yep.
So I've seen the horse run several times, not in person, but on television. At Iowa, he was 5 for 5 and probably won by a combined at least 50 lengths in his 5 races, wouldn't you think?
I'm trying to add it up now. I don't think it's a little bit short of 50, but it's close.
Yeah, and for 5 wins, that's a lot of links.
Yeah.
Okay, then they took the horse to the Breeders' Cup, and it was on turf, I believe. First time it had ever run on turf. And he bled. He bled out because you can't take Lasix in a Breeders' Cup race. So you got to throw that one out. On pure vision, watching, the horse is fast. I mean, these are not, he's slaughtering these fields of Iowa breds. Not even close. So he obviously doesn't belong in Iowa. Okay, so he's coming for the big test down here tomorrow. So I looked through this. I don't see anything that's great against him. There aren't any big time up and coming 2-year-olds, are there? You know more about it than I do. This field is not overwhelming. Would you agree?
Yeah, it's not overwhelming. By the way, my math, quick math was wrong. Got the calculator out. He has won 5 races on the dirt at Prairie Meadows by a combined 59 3/4 lengths.
Yeah,
so 59 3/4 lengths.
Yeah.
You said it. Tried the turf last time out at Keeneland. I mean, he went straight from Prairie Meadows to a Grade 1 race. It's very hard to do. He had to switch surfaces as well. And above everything else, the horse had never been off Lasix, and he bled in the race. And it doesn't matter how good you are. You stop when that happens.
Yeah. And he was running okay.
Yeah.
Until that happened. I'm not saying he would have won, but he was there.
Yeah.
And boom, he just hit the wall because you have to.
Hit the brakes. Gets Lasix back here, and I think that's the key.
I do too.
Another big key. Yes, he is an Iowa bred. Yes, he's been at Prairie Meadows. He's beaten Open Company 3 times. So he has not only faced Iowa breds up at Prairie Meadows, he has faced Open Company in 3 instances. And one was on Iowa Classics night, where you get some decent shippers usually in there for those races. And he destroyed those fields just as easy as the Iowa breds. I don't think him being an Iowa bred means much here. He's just cut from a different cloth as far as Iowa breds are concerned. I don't think anybody runs with him early in this race either. He looks to me like he's going to get loose out on the lead today.
And he does.
This is probably the spot they needed to test him at outside of Iowa. And
the other thing is this: if he gets the lead, I don't think there's anything in here that's going to catch him.
No,
if he's either. Now the other thing is this track is different. You know, the Oaklawn track's different, so he's going to have to like the surface. The trainer, this is another great story. I haven't gone all the way back to Tim Martin's history. I would say this is the best horse he's ever had, or has the potential to be the best horse he's ever had. The other thing that's neat, he stayed with the jockey who was an apprentice when the season started last year. Kylie, right? Kylie Jordan, up and coming young female rider, and he let her ride that horse in the Breeders' Cup. So that's cool. This guy's a good guy. I would love to see him have a horse. He deserves it. So, yes, I'm going to go with them for sentimental reasons more than anything else, but I think the horse can win, you know. Now, if a lot of you don't like that price and you think you could beat it's worth the risk, I think, to try to beat a horse that has never won anywhere but Iowa. So I see where you're coming from. I kind of looked around at some of these others. I've got 5 listed. I don't really like any of them that well. I think my second choice is the 6.
Mm-hmm.
Happy is a choice. You know, been running decent in his last few races. The Asmussen horse, number 4, could be an up-and-comer, maybe, knowing his track record, but really hasn't shown a whole lot. He did win a 75K race at Zia. I think that was his last start, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is kind of a step up, but he's logical, maybe. What do you think about the 7? Frosted Departure.
Yeah, Frosted Departure is one that's getting some class relief and cutting back in distance again for the second straight race. They tried this horse going long against the top horses in the crop. It did not go well whatsoever. Listen, the horse won an allowance going 7 furlongs at Churchill Downs by 9 1/4. So I do like the horse. Last time out was 3rd in a stakes at Churchill going 6 1/2. I think this is a nice one. This horse, the 7 Frosted Departure, I had in 4th. I do think at 15 to 1, it's certainly one you've got to put on the ticket. One you haven't mentioned, and Shadi mentioned the 4 and the 6, and you mentioned those 2 horses. I hear you. Robertino Diodoro's got a decent looking runner in the 3, Too Much Info. This horse debuted on the turf at Ellis Park and won very easily. He showed speed in that race, and I think from this inside post, he's the one that Tyler's Tribe might have to mess with early. We know how Diodoro can win these races early. I put the 3 in second here. I like that price. I like every bit of 12 to 1.
I do have him listed as my 5th choice, and I could these other 4 behind the favorite. You can switch them any way you want. With me, I could be talked into anyway you want to put them. The horse hasn't run much, but Diodoro runs well at Oaklawn. And he's jumping this horse right up into 150K, which tells us, he thinks this horse is pretty good. So I would have to go along with you on that one. You could talk me into putting that horse second. But like I said, of these other 4 I listed, you can place them any way you want.
Yeah, Michael points out the 5 will get Lasix again, and that's going to be a big factor. One thing about it, and I'm not saying it's going to happen, but sometimes when a horse is just a beast and then they get beat like that, even though it had a legit excuse, I hope it didn't mess with him mentally. I hope mentally he's fine and he gets out in front like normal. And I just don't want to see this horse get ruined, and I'm certainly not suggesting that that's happening. But
right, but I know what you're saying. And the thing is, we're not talking about a human here; we're talking about a horse.
Yeah.
So you can't go tell the horse, "Hey, you bled out, buddy. It's not your fault." He doesn't understand that. So that's a very good point.
Well, we'll see what happens in this one. I did a video on how to make money on big favorites, and to me, this is the race. If you like the 5, then you're going to have to get that second horse you like, whoever it is. Look at those exacta will pays and make a decision. Is that enough for me to play the exacta? Yeah. And if not, you're going to have to get a couple of horses and play them in a try with the 5 on top. And then if you don't like Tyler's Try, well, then it becomes very easy. You could do about anything, and your bet's going to be able to be a positive expected value bet on it. So
I don't think with the morning line guy putting this at 3 to 5 didn't do any of your favorites that wanting to try to beat the favorite, because traditionally Oaklawn, his price isn't going to go up. That's what I'm trying to say.
Probably going to be 1 to 5 if I had a guess.
That's what usually happens, because the people at Oaklawn know who this horse is, because they follow where these horses go from Oaklawn, and they follow Prairie Meadows. They know Tim Martin. They know the jockey. They know this horse. So I don't think you're going to get better than what it is right now.
Usually morning lines at Oaklawn have been historically terrible. I will say I don't think they're too bad. And I don't know if they maybe have gotten somebody new that are doing them or what, but I thought opening weekend looked decent overall. I hadn't dove into Saturday and Sunday completely yet, but the Friday card looks about right. So that's good news. This is a horse that is probably going to be 1 to 5, but in the past, Oaklawn might put him at 5 to 2 on the morning line. So
absolutely.
this 3 to 5 was a kind of an eye opener to me as a wow, maybe they're going to take the morning line a little more serious. Again, I think my plan here is I like the 5, so I'm going to do kind of what I talked about in that video, making money on heavy favorites. I'm going to hope that 5-3 exacta pays about 6 to 1, and I think it will. And if it does, I'll just probably do that. And if it doesn't, I'll probably pair the 5 with the 3-4, with the 5 on top of a 3-4 in second, 3-4 in third try, and go about it that way, because I do expect this one to be a heavy favorite. All right, let's go to Saturday. Let's move right along here. Saturday, race 7 on the card will be the first stakes of the day. It's the Ring the Bell Stakes. It's going 6 furlongs, $150,000 purse for the 3-year-olds. Field of 7. I think this is a very wide open field here of 7. The favorite is number 6, Cavid, at 2 to 1. If you followed Oaklawn last year, you know about him. He ran in almost every Kentucky. I think he did run actually in every Kentucky Derby prep. Okay, what do you think about this one? Are you going to go with the favorite? Or are you going to try to beat him here?
This one's really tough.
Yeah, I thought they looked all the same in this race.
They really do. I have 4 listed, and you can pick them apart here. This is in no particular order. The 1,
yep,
the 5, the 6, and the 7. And you know, you look at the 1. I broke it down. 7 starts this year. He's run in, 5 of those are stakes races.
Mm-hmm.
7th in a grade 3, and that was at Lone Star. 4th in a grade 3. 2nd in a 175K, very similar to this one. That was at Remington. 1st at Remington in a 150K. And then he was in the Breeders' Cup Sprint. I ran 9th. So this horse is legit. I mean, he's been in some races very similar to this. I think you have to consider him, don't you?
Yeah, he's actually who I put on top. I put number 1, Flash of Mischief on top here. This Carl Broberg horse is just really solid. You said it. You kind of ran down some of the races he's been in. You know, some of them maybe he didn't win, but he was competitive.
Right.
I just could not get over the race 2 back, and we're big Remington Park fans. So the David M. Vance was on Oklahoma Derby Day, and so that gets extra attention. Some of you watching that don't follow Remington day in and day out may have been watching that day. This David M. Vance at Remington is usually pretty solid, and I thought it was again this year. He waxed them.
Yeah.
He loved this cutback to 6 furlongs after running long.
Right.
Tried the Breeders' Cup. Forget about the Breeders' Cup. This is not even close
You have
to
to
that.
throw that one out. Yeah, don't even look at that.
I'm telling you, I think he's going to be ultra tough to beat. I think there's a lot of pace, and I think he will come mow them down if that pace gets hot. I really like Flash of Mischief in this spot. Yeah.
He would be who I would have put on top. Cavid, the 6.
Yeah, makes a ton of sense.
He's only won once, and he's finished 2nd only once. But if you check what races he's been in, he's running a lot better races than anybody else in this field.
Yeah, and when you say once, he's won once here at Oaklawn.
Okay.
Yeah,
but only once last year. I'm sorry.
Right. Okay, I got you. Yeah, only one win, and then one win at Oaklawn, like I said, and it came December 3rd in the Advent Stakes, which is the race we talked about. Yeah, and
this is the distance we said he needed to be at when he was running in those prep races all last spring. You know, he's a sprinter. So he's somebody you got to look at, but I'm a firm believer that if you put these horses in over their head and they keep getting beat, it weighs them down. I'm a firm believer in that.
Yeah.
Because they know whether they win or not. And I don't care. It's a horse. You can't tell the horse, hey, you ran really well. You were in a grade 2. The horse don't know the difference between a grade 2 and a grade 1. So he's lost. He's only won once in 2022. He's run a lot. He's ran 8 starts. This is number 9. I mean, that's not a ton, but still, that's when you don't win.
It's a lot.
Yeah. So that's why I don't have him on top. I think you got to play him, though. Michael said something about Chattelot, the seven.
Rasmussen horse. Yeah.
Yes. 4 starts, 1 win, a couple thirds, third in his last start. Probably not over his head in this. So yes, I think you have to include him. The interesting horse is the 5, and these are my kind of horses. But the problem with the 5, I mean, he's running better than anybody. He's been in 9 starts this year, 6 wins in 3 seconds. The bad news, this is the first stakes that I could find he's ever ran in.
Mm-hmm.
That's not good. So he may get up there and hit the board, though. That's the thing. He might.
It's with the number 5 one for Richie. It's a lot of, okay, it's a good stakes to try.
Yes.
On paper. And then you get here and it's like, man, there's not any world beaters, but damn, all these can run. Right. And we're going to have to be pretty good to win this race. So
he's in great form, and I see why they're doing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But,
a couple people have mentioned the 2 long range Toddy. This horse is quite incredible. He will every once in a while jump up and run a big race and hit the board. But this horse has not won since the 2019 Rebel. Unbelievable that he has not won since. And he has had many, many, many tries at it.
Right.
He, at times, though, can jump up and run a big race. You just wouldn't think he's going to be able to get the job done at this race. But I think Shoddy mentioned it. The 2 getting second or third here at a big price, that's not out of the question.
Yeah. No question. In this race.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I can't bet that horse. I can't put any money on that horse.
No, you certainly could not put it on the win end or play in your multi races, but I'm not going to be shocked if the horse runs really well. But man, it's just this crazy. Like you'll see the horse is like 6th, 11th, 5th, second in a grade 2, not 7th. I mean, you never know when he's going to pop with that big race. And so you do burn a lot of money playing horses like this, but when you are right on them, they will make it lucrative.
Oh yeah.
If it comes in a 1-2 exacta, you're going to get paid quite well on that. So
exactly. Yeah.
It's worth a shot. All right. I think we've covered that one well enough. Let's go 2 races later. Let's go to race 9 on the card. It's the Mistletoe Stakes. Now we're going 2 turns. We're going to go 1 mile. That will start and end at the 16th pole. So a short stretch in 1 mile races at Oaklawn Park. That's very important to remember. Usually when the horses turn for home, you want to be, if not on the lead, in that top flight of horses, or you might be in a little bit of trouble. Short stretch there. Remember that mile races at Oaklawn begin and end at the 16th pole. Anyway, $150,000 purse here for the fillies and mares, 3-year-old and up. Field of 7. There's one in here I really like. I'm not going to say who it is because I want to know who you like first and see if we're the same.
Well, let's see. I put down 5 of the 7 again.
All right.
All right.
Narrowed it down for us.
Well, that doesn't mean, I thought this was hard too. I did. Because it's Oaklawn, everything's hard. There's no such thing as an easy one. We've sat down before and tried to figure out why is Oaklawn so hard, but it is. It's just a very difficult track. I like. Okay, you're not gonna believe this. I like the 2. Ice Working.
Oh, I can believe it. Why do you like the 2?
Well, I just think the horse is running well. He broke his maiden at Oaklawn last year.
Mm-hmm.
Was second in the Honeybee at Oaklawn last year. Now, something happened to the horse after that because it didn't run again until September. So that scares me some. You probably know what happened, but to run that well at Oaklawn and then be off for 6 months is troubling. But he's come back, 3rd in an allowance at Churchill, 1st in an allowance at Keeneland, and then finished 2nd in a grade 3 at Churchill. Mm-hmm. So I say he, it's a she. She's running good. She's running fine. Seems like she's okay. She's come back and run pretty well. So, I don't see a lot in there. I'm kind of interested in the 6. But that horse has only run 2 races in the United States that I can see, and it's won them both. Taking a step up. So that one kind of intrigues me. And then you have Coach, the number 1. That's just solid. So those are the three I like the best. I also put down Lovely Ride as well, and that's the three. So who you going?
I love the 6. I think the 6 Leda Vita is going to be very, very tough in this race. I think those 2 races in the United States have been sharp. They have been allowances. I do understand what you're saying there. Let me tell you, they have been dominant allowance wins, and they've been at tough tracks at Churchill Downs and at Keeneland. I just think Leda Vita will be very tough to beat in this spot if she fires that kind of race. I think she looks really good. I think this is the perfect first stakes race in the United States for this horse.
Yeah.
I like her a lot.
She's number on my list.
What's that?
She's number 2 on my list. And again, I don't study the foreign horses much. So I don't know how to read that. I don't know what those races compared to here.
Well, to be completely honest, when they come over from Chile, it is tough. It's really tough to know until you see them run. So European horses, when they come down, it's like, okay, we know they're good on the turf. We can kind of know what's going to happen here. But with this horse, it's like, you need to know, you need to see one. So they usually will show up at Churchill, right? And or not Church at the Gulfstream. And it's like, I don't really know what to do with them until I see them. This horse, now that we've seen him, wow. I really think she looks good. I like Leda Vita a lot. Ice Orchid, honestly, I think you're crazy if you don't use this horse underneath. I think this horse, obviously 7 for 7 hitting the board. Ran in a race pretty similar to this last time out and got second. I just think this is a nice horse. One thing about Oaklawn, you guys need to remember the name John Ortiz. The Ortiz brothers, upstate New York, very famous, obviously. But John Ortiz is a trainer, and he has great success in this early part of this Oaklawn meet almost every season. So keep an eye out for Ortiz, the trainer version at Oaklawn. His horses often run or outrun their odds. So keep an eye on him. I like Ice Orchid. He's the trainer there of the 2. You mentioned Coach. Ran really well here last year, but the wheels have kind of fallen off. Had something happened. I don't know what it was, but obviously big layoff, probably injured. It just hasn't come back that great to me. That race last time out, and Michael, you mentioned it. It was horrible. Got 4th in that race that Ice Orchid was in. I don't know. What are your thoughts on Coach? You mentioned her briefly.
I think she's probably been a huge disappointment to them, don't you? Because she ran well at Oaklawn.
It seemed like she was the one where we tried to get her in the Oak. She wasn't quite good enough. We come back to Oaklawn. We win 2 in a row. It's like, okay, we're going to have a horse. Didn't run that badly in the Bayacoa. Got 4th, beaten 2 3/4. Then we're off 231 days. And now it's like we came back at Laurel. And it's like, okay, it wasn't bad. We lost. And then last time out was just a mess. So, Michael, I know you were on her too that day. I feel like she's might get loose on the lead. That's the only scary thing here. But and that's how she won her big race last year, was on the lead. I couldn't do it, not at a short price.
No, I don't. No, I didn't see anything that would make me think she's going to be great in this race.
Michael makes a good point. He said he would rather take a shot with the Coach, the number 4, Will Secret, for Dwayne Lucas. Any thoughts on Will Secret? Won last time out at Churchill.
Oh, kind of, but it's kind of, no, I can't.
To Michael's comment, I think at a price, if you're looking for a price horse underneath, I think she does make sense. Last time out, like I said, did win at Churchill, 2 back, faced Leda Vita and just no match, right? But got 3rd. Maybe she's a no match 3rd again. And again, it'll juice up the try if that was to happen.
Yeah.
All right. One more to go. Let's go to Sunday. It's not going to be a stakes race, but we are going to go to it anyway because it is the feature race of the day on Sunday. We're going allowance horses here. Race 8 is what we're going to talk about. Allowance option claimer for 62.5, going a mile and 1/16, $106,000 purse. So a great allowance purse for 3-year-olds and upward, which have never won $23,000 twice, other than maiden, claiming, starter, blah, blah, blah. All right, big field here. many do we have here? I didn't even count them. Nine horses here. Okay. What are your thoughts?
Why don't you don't list them in any order, your top 4? Because I
Okay.
don't want to make a fool out of myself. There's no odds up here.
Yeah, there are no odds in the race.
This one is where I'm at compared to you.
I am going to try to take a shot with the one who I think is going to be a price. I want a price in here. So I went the 1 on top. I've got the 9 in second. I have no numbers here, so I'm counting as I go. I got 1, 9, 3, and what would that be? 1, 9, 3, and 4 is where. No, sorry,
Right.
1, 9, 3, and 2.
Okay. I'm pretty good on this one.
Okay.
All right, let's go through it because I didn't want to go through and just be totally an idiot. I have the 9 on top.
Okay, well, I have that horse second.
Right. It's run on turf. It's run on dirt. Kind of similar, been running really well.
Yeah, 2 in a row.
Yep. 2 straight wins. We got to throw out that they ran it 3. I'm looking at starts this year.
Yeah.
Started out 3 on the turf.
Mm-hmm.
Then they switched to the dirt for 3. And the horse won once on the turf, once on the dirt. Then they put it back on the turf for the Turf Cup, and I can't remember where that was at.
Yeah, Kentucky Downs.
Okay, and it was awful.
Mm-hmm.
Then they put it back on the dirt, and it's won twice since. So the horse is running really well, and I like the trainer a lot. Mm-hmm. The jockey is solid, so I don't see any negatives really on that horse at this point, and I think he stacks up okay with the rest of them, right?
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Okay. Search Engine was a horse that was highly thought of at one time, correct?
Yep.
And then Amos has got Amos. He hadn't had it in a long time, has he, or has he?
No, he's had it. He's always had it.
All right. When you look at that horse, excellent start to the season. 2 wins and a second in the first 3 starts. Hasn't run very well since. Does have a second, does have a third, but not impressive. So, but you got to look at that horse. We're looking at odds here. I'm just going to guess that Keystone Field will be the favorite. Do you think so?
That was kind of my thought. Yes, I think Keystone Field will be the favorite. And again, this is purely a guess because, like I said, we have no odds yet. I would think 2-1, 5-2 type of range on Keystone Field.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also like the 2,
yeah.
But I like the 2 because it's Asmussen more than anything else. Because in the last 4 races, he's finished 3rd, 4th, 5th, 3rd in similar races. That's not good. That's not a good sign coming into this. He ran well early in the season. Horse ran 9 times this year. I'm looking at a tired horse right here. That's what I'm looking at.
Mm-hmm.
Now, because it's Asmussen, I think he may be 4-1, maybe.
I was going to guess 4 or 5-1. Yep.
Yeah. So that's 3. I also threw the 4 in there a little bit, but I'm not as high on the 4. Now, another horse that's in this field is the 8.
Mm-hmm.
And the 8's been a major disappointment.
Major. Yep.
Yes. Because at one time, that horse was in the running, wasn't he, for the Derby path?
Yeah, I mean, he won the Iroquois as a 2-year-old. He never really got going on the Derby. Like they tried him, yes, but he never really got going on it.
Yeah. So that's a sleeper. Horses ran in a lot of good races, better than this. That's a sleeper. I don't know if you want to leave him out or not, but he's not been running well. So I would not argue if you pick the 1. I think the 1, 6-1?
Probably, yep.
So you would have, if you wanted to do a try, and you went with the 9, probably 5-2. Say you wanted to throw the 2 in there, he's probably going to be 5-1. Search Engine 6-1. That'd pay pretty well.
Yeah, it's not going to be too bad. I think you can do a lot of different stuff in here, and it's going to be fine as far as a betting decision, I should say, goes, because you're going to get prices on almost everybody. Zoomer, he's a horse that at one time was really a nice horse. I don't know what he is now. He's really been bad, but again, you're going to get a decent enough price on him. He's running for Cox now.
Yep.
I mean, and Major General, something you didn't mention. Now he's running for Hartman for the first time.
Right.
It's a Hartman horse going 2 turns that has shown speed.
Yeah.
First time out for Hartman, he might get brave. I wouldn't totally forget about Major General. It's one you just have to go deep. I went search engine because I think if he gets back to his races 2 and 3 back, he can compete with this group. He was up against pretty tough ones in that one. I don't think this is a weird field. Nobody's very good in it, but nobody's just like, oh, wow, we can totally throw them off either. They all kind of look similar. I just thought search engine, the form is muddied up enough that I think we can get a decent enough price to play this horse. I like Tom Amos at Oaklawn. He doesn't bring many, but when he brings them, they usually run well. I may be wrong, and it might be a horse that more of an underneath type, but I'm going to take a shot on top because I think the price is going to be there. And in a race where they all look the same, I try to lean towards one that I think is going to be a little bit more of a price that just maybe for whatever reason has some muddled up form, but can get into a race like this and look better than what that form looks. So I'm going to take a shot with number 1 search engine. You said Keystone Field. And listen, we're guessing on odds,
Yes,
with Keystone Field has Maker, but, it has a good jockey in Arietta, but not one that just gets pounded, so maybe he sneaks up and you get 3 or 4 to 1. That'd be okay.
Yeah. Did you look at the 6 at all?
Let's see again. I don't have the numbers right. Yeah. The 6
Mowens.
I couldn't get there with the 6.
No, I can't either, but he has shown a little class. I mean, he won a stakes race, and he's an Indiana bred, and he's ran better at Indiana, and this is a major step up.
That's the problem. If it was at Horseshoe Indianapolis, I'd feel a lot better. I think it's just a tough step up. It's a weird thing though. Last year at Oaklawn, we saw some weird horses like this win in the first couple of 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Get an Illinois bred was winning a few. Was winning a couple of races. Or they were winning a couple of races. So
this horse has ran a ton of races this year too.
See, and that's the problem. A lot of them have, not all, but a lot. And every horse, it's like you could make a case for. Like Leblon, the 5 is one I was like, I don't know. First off the claim for Maker, of the quote unquote first off claim for Maker last time out improved. I should have said second by a neck and a 50K claimer. Now Maker's going to move up to allowance. It's the quote unquote other Maker. Would you be shocked if Leblon won?
No, I wouldn't be shocked if any of them except number 7 wins.
And number seven, my 6th sense. If you go back to last year at this level at Oaklawn, didn't run too bad. Just totally fell off form.
I think the age. Now it's interesting. This is the first time Diodoro's run it.
Exactly. First off the claim for Diodoro off of Steve Hobby.
And puts him in an allowance, which kind of surprises me.
I think he claimed the horse and he thought, give it a little time. Let's look at what they did in the allowances last year at Oaklawn. Hey, I'll take a 2nd or a 3rd in this race. I
really thought that was interesting that he claimed that horse, and I think he gave $62,000 for it.
Yeah,
I believe that's what it was. So he paid a lot of money for this horse, and I've seen the horse, and you have too. It's a beautiful horse.
Oh yeah, we've seen this horse run a lot.
It passes the looks, and that horse was good when it's 4 years old, 3 and 4 years old, but it's tapered off considerably. But Diodoro doesn't make mistakes too often. When he spends $62,000 on a horse, he likes it.
Yeah, I don't have absolutely. I agree, and I don't have the full card for Sunday done. I just did this race for the show, and I kept thinking as I finalized this and got ready for the show, how in the hell am I going to play a pick 5 on Sunday? Like, how am I going to knock some of these horses out?
Oh yeah.
And if I go all, where can I single? And I was already thinking about that because man, oh man, it's tough to eliminate any of these. And a horse like that, like my 6th sense, if you're alive and you say you go 4 out of 5 and that horse beats you and you look back, and as we all do when we miss or hit either one, we should all look back. And you're like, my gosh, I let a first off the claim Diodoro horse that was running fine in allowance races last year at this track,
Yeah. But
honestly, Mullins is probably the only one I'm going to leave off completely.
He has tailed off. That's the thing with the 7. He hasn't shown much. And Hobby's not a bad trainer.
You just have to make decisions, and
Here's the thing with Hobby. I shouldn't say this. He's honest.
Mm-hmm.
And the other guy, you got to kind of think about that a little bit too. The thing Diodoro's had a lot of tracks that I follow pretty hard.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of know his tendencies. And normally he doesn't spend $62,000 to claim a horse.
Yep.
And then to turn right around and put that in on allowance instead of a $40,000 claimer at Oaklawn, which pays well, is an indication that he thinks he can make this horse improve, which makes the horse dangerous. So I'm verifying everything you're saying.
That's just it. And usually what happens when you see it's like, wow, why is he moving that one up in class? And then you find out,
He's a lot like Danny Caldwell.
Yeah, they're Caldwell, Broberg, Diodoro.
They don't spend a ton of money on a claimer very often.
Yeah.
When they do, and they keep that at that class or they raise it, I'm thinking of Rated R Superstar when I'm talking about this.
Yeah.
You better look out because they think they know something that they can get that horse to do to make him better.
Yeah, Rated R Superstar, also Domain's Rap, another horse that Danny Caldwell did that with.
Yes.
With Federico Villafranco, and they know what they're doing when it comes.
They know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Michael said you're gonna have to use a bunch here. I'm like said, hopefully there's some races that look a little easier that we can.
7 out of 9 you got listed there, Mike.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Yeah, if you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, and the 6 or the 7, I'll probably win for sure. So
you would think, and those are the two logical ones to leave off.
Yeah, I agree. So. Yeah. Michael says Broberg is the king of the claimers. There's no question. Nobody does it better.
He's good.
All right. Well, that's it. That's our Oaklawn talk for this week. We did the 4 big races there coming up at Oaklawn. Any final thoughts on Oaklawn before we rapid fire the NFL?
Nope. I'm ready for tomorrow when it starts. I'm ready.
It's going to be fun, and I'm sure as we go down this Oaklawn. I mean, this is just the first week of it. It's going to get better and better as far as the racing that we'll cover, because Oaklawn does a great job of really building to the end. Each week is better and better. Yeah.
Yep.
Michael says Magic Mike is doing Gulfstream. Oh, are they really? Wow, Gulfstream's been nuts lately. So we'll see. I don't know. Well, okay, let's go NFL here, and let's rapid fire him because we don't have a ton of time, but let's rapid fire him. Let's go to tonight. Raiders and the Rams. This is now dropped -6.5 for the Raiders tonight in Los Angeles. Who do you like?
Well, we talked about this on the Daily Show. I like the Raiders tonight. I'm not too sure on the points, but I think they're going to win. It's a huge game for the Raiders. Believe it or not, they're in the playoff hunt. They got to win this game. They can't lose to the Rams. As Mike Somage said, there'll be more Raiders fans by tons than Rams, even though the game's in L.A. I'm going Raiders, but I might look at the Rams +6.5 if I had to bet money on it. But I think the Raiders are going to win.
Yeah, I'll go Raiders as well. I love that Michael is throwing some shade at our boy Somage, saying, what's the over-under? The Somage goes 3 out of 5 in that Gulfstream.
Now, I have to ask you a question here.
Okay.
You think he's listening?
No.
Because I hated his bet today, but I didn't say anything.
Okay, well, let's touch on that because it is about this game.
No, I'm afraid he'll be listening.
No, it's fine. It's no big deal. He bet Raiders team total over 24.5. You hate that bet. Why?
No, I don't see them scoring that very often. So
probably that's a good reason to hate it, right? That's maybe the best answer ever given on any of our platforms.
I wouldn't bet a team that's 5-7. I wouldn't have a lot of confidence on the team scoring 25 points is all that's it. And the Rams defense is decent.
I just like the simplicity of it. Why do you hate it? Well, I don't think they'll get to 24.5. Well,
I hope he's right, and I probably am wrong, but I don't. I shouldn't say I hate it. I just don't love it.
What do you think about my bet?
I love yours because the Blues Jets are going to get 10 of those 32 goals right there. So
you hate the Raiders over 24.5, but you love over 31.5 total goals scored tonight in the NHL.
For 5 games, you only got to get 6. a game, I think, and if you can get a couple of them and maybe get 9,
Yeah.
then you're down. You got 18, and you got you got to get 13, 14 more. Okay, 3 and a 14. That's not that many. So
I'm sure it'll be one of the best goalie nights in the
yeah,
history of
probably.
NHL tonight. All right, let's get this going. Let's rapid fire the rest of these. We got another show coming up soon.
Okay.
Jets and the Bills. Bills are 10-point favorites at home against the Jets. What do you think?
Bills should cover. They should. They should be motivated. They're in the running for the top seed. If they win the rest of their games, they're the number 1 overall seed, no matter what the Chiefs do. They should be motivated. I think the Jets are fading a little bit. I'll go Bills -10.
Bills -10 tonight. I'll take the Bills as well. All right, Browns and the Bengals. The Bengals 5.5-point favorites. How about this? Joe Burrow has never lost to Pat Mahomes, and he's never beaten the Browns.
Well, I didn't know that.
It is a fact. Will that change Sunday?
I think so. Again, if we're going to include the Raiders in the playoffs hunt, you got to include the Browns too. They got the same record. Yeah. I'm not saying I'm including them. I'm just saying logic says you got to too. Oh, they got to win 5 in a row. Ain't happening because they're going to lose this one. So I think the Bengals are getting ready to get on a roll. I think they've got a very tough schedule left, though. This ain't one of them. So if they can get back from beating the Chiefs, they have a little bit of a letdown. They are at home. I'm going to go Cincinnati -5.5.
Me too. Bengals -5.5. I think they get back, or they finally get that win, I should say, over the Browns. Interesting game, though. Deshaun Watson's second game. He was not good in the first one, but that's understandable. I haven't played in a long time.
Right.
Let's see if he's better in that second game. That'll be an interesting game. All right. Texans on the road against the Cowboys. The Battle of Texas. It shouldn't be good. I don't know that I've seen a 17-point spread in a long, long time. What do you think?
Well, it's valid, a 17-point spread.
It is, yeah.
I guess some of those Detroit teams are as bad as Houston, but they didn't seem like it at the time.
Yeah.
This is a game where Dallas is not going to be ready to play. I just don't see how they're going to be ready. I'm going to go Houston +17 because Dallas, I think, is just going to screw around.
Yeah, I'll stay away from it. I would almost go Houston plus that 17 too. We've seen Dallas. It's like, oh, they win these kind of games by like 10. Yeah. You know, I don't think they're in any danger of losing, but maybe not covering. All right, Vikings and the Lions. I can't believe I'm saying it. I'm on the Lions train again.
Yeah, I can't believe the line.
I can't either.
When I was writing these down a while ago, even though I can read, I was just writing them down because it makes me remember it a little better.
Yeah. I
wrote it down, Minnesota -2.
Yeah.
And then I looked and said, wait a minute, that says 10-2 against 5-7. Now that is all you need to know about how much respect Minnesota's getting.
Yeah.
They're getting absolutely no respect. And that's not right. That's not right. I'm picking Detroit too. I like the Lions as well.
Do you realize we've picked Detroit several times in a row?
I didn't pick them Thanksgiving. I think you did. Now, I might have picked the spread.
No, the spread. I'm talking about the spread.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they're 5-7, and I think they got off to what, 1-6?
Yes.
This team is playing well. They could have beat Buffalo.
Yes.
Which a lot of people say is the best team in the NFL.
Yeah.
They took them to the wire.
Yep.
They came back and smashed Jacksonville last week. They didn't just beat them. They smashed them.
Michael's
shocked. Do what?
Michael is shocked Detroit's a favorite as well.
Well, I am too.
Yeah.
And they should not be the favorite. But anyway, they're playing as well as just about anybody. And I mean, they've won 4 out of 5. They win this game, they're in the playoff hunt, and they're legitimately in the playoff hunt, but they have to win this one. This would be huge. I think a lot of us just think Minnesota's a fraud because they've won an awful lot of close games. Do you know what? In the NFL, you got to win close games. So I'm taking Detroit because it's at home and it's not a must game for Minnesota. They've got the division locked up. So Sometimes you lose that edge a little bit. So Detroit needs it. They're playing well. Minnesota doesn't need it. That's kind of the play I'm going on it.
I'm with you. I would not argue with anybody that's going to take the Vikings money line, because you probably shouldn't be getting plus money on the Vikings in this situation. But I honestly and truly think Detroit wins. So
that's another way to go.
Yeah,
you're getting plus money if you take Minnesota. That's a good bet when they're playing the Lions.
I think as far as betting standpoint and a logic standpoint, it makes a ton of sense. I think you're going to lose it, though, because I think the Lions are going to beat them.
I do too.
I've picked the line. I've found myself picking the Lions I'm talking with the points now every week. And like I said, I keep thinking, oh, that's a loss. And they get it done. So
that was my best bet last week, and I didn't even have to sweat it.
No, they dominated. Yep. All right, let's go on. Jaguars and the Titans. The Titans are just a 4-point favorite here against the Jags. I'm still on the Titans in this spot.
Well, they need this game.
Yes.
They're going to win the division, but they've lost 2 in a row, and one of them was at home, and they need this game. So I think they cover. I mean, Jacksonville didn't even show up, and Detroit this is another team. Who knows what they're going to do? They're terrible away from home, though. So Tennessee -4.
They're terrible about everywhere. I'm not a big Jacksonville fan.
A game at home every once in a while.
I mean, they beat Baltimore. Big deal.
Well, that's true.
That's the way I look at that. I don't. What big deal? Everybody almost beats Baltimore, or almost, beats them by 2 or 3, or loses by 2 or 3.
That's
so
true.
Whatever. I'm with the Titans. Eagles and the Giants. The Eagles are just a 7-point favorite. I say that because, man, the Eagles just keep winning and looking solid. Giants are kind of on their way down, I think. Any chance for an upset in the Meadowlands, or do you think it's going to be all Eagles?
Yes, there's a chance. The Eagles haven't secured the division yet, and they've still got a game left with Dallas. So they need to keep winning. If they had an easy, say, a 3-game lead in the division, I could see them letting down. I don't think anybody likes the Giants all that well. That was a big tie for the Giants last week. I mean, everybody's saying, well, they tied. Well, Washington's playing good, and they got a tie, so they played all right. I don't think this game's going to be 7, though. I'm going to go the Giants +7, but I think the Eagles win.
All right, let's move on. Well, hold on. I should give my pick. Eagles -7. Eagles big, as I do on the sports on the Daily Show. All right, Ravens and the Steelers. Steelers big. Well, it's not gonna be big. It'll be a close, tight game, but I do think the Steelers. I think they win.
Okay, again, we know why the line's what it is. Who's quarterback in the Ravens? Who's their backup?
Hunley is their backup.
Oh yeah, I know who he. I think he played in Washington there once. No, he backed up Lamar last year. I know who he is. He's not bad. That's why it's 2.5. Pittsburgh's won 2 in a row. Is there a classier group than them? I don't think anybody thought they'd win 5 games this year.
I thought they'd be the worst team in the league.
Yeah, and they're not. And Kenny Pickett is playing pretty well, what little I've seen. I watched him quite a bit the other night. I think it was Monday night when they played Indianapolis last time. I think that was on Monday night. It was either that or Sunday night. I can't remember.
He's coming on.
It's one of the night games.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh -2.5. I'm going with the Steelers.
My whole deal is why I'm taking Pittsburgh. It's like, and people are gonna get not agree, and that's fine. Lamar, Hunley, it's the same game every time.
It is.
It's a field goal or safety, or an extra point, one way or the other, every time. So
it might be a 6-point game if they kick a field goal when they were supposed to.
Exactly right. I couldn't have said it better myself. No. All right, Chiefs and the Broncos. Surely the Chiefs aren't going to choke again, right? They're going to beat the Broncos by more than and they're going to cover, right? They're going to win by 10, aren't they?
Well, if you see the two teams play, I think that's a pretty obvious answer, don't you? I think this game means a lot to the Chiefs since they got beat last week, and they're still trying to get that number 1 playoff spot.
Yeah.
I think they'll be ready. I don't think these two teams don't like each other very well. Denver's got a good defense, and they will play hard, but they can't score. Kansas City -9.5, but I'm not betting it.
I hope they don't choke again. We'll see what
Well,
happens.
bet it. Just don't bet it.
Buccaneers with Tom Brady against the San Francisco 49ers with Mr. Irrelevant, last pick in the draft, Brock Purdy.
Wow.
Purdy versus Brady. It's the quarterback matchup we all wanted to see this year. 49ers are a 3.5-point favorite because it's Purdy versus Brady. The 49ers are way the best team.
And that's why they're going to win.
Do they do they cover is the question now.
Tampa is so lucky they're not going out there 5-7. They should be going out there 5-7.
Tampa is so lucky they're in that division.
Absolutely. And New Orleans gave that game away Monday night. They had the game. They did a couple of dumb things that gave them a chance, and Brady being Brady pulled them through. And by the way, I went to bed. I turned it off. I think it was like 5 minutes left, and they punted, and the Tampa crowd was booing them off the field.
They punted. Heather and I were downstairs. We went upstairs, like, all right, let's go to bed. I checked my phone, and I saw that Tampa had scored. I said, I'll turn this on. Yeah. And that's the only reason. I just happened to check my phone. And
if you saw, they got a pass interference penalty in the end zone that placed the ball on the 4.
Oh, yeah, I saw it.
And that was a break they needed, and it was pass interference. So anyway, they got all the breaks. They ain't going to get the breaks out there. The 49ers defense is too good. They're going to kill Brady. The thing is, we're seeing this in the NFL now. The trend is to go to mobile quarterbacks. That's the new trend in the NFL. Mm-hmm. You look, you got Hurts, you got Allen, you got Mahomes, you got Jackson, you got Justin Fields. Who am I leaving out? There's somebody else that can. Oh, Kyler Murray. Well, you got guys that can move.
You could throw Dak in there a little bit as well.
He can move a little bit. He can get away from a pass rush.
Right.
Okay, so you got the stick man back there now. With all due respect to Brady, he can't move. He cannot move at all. Mm-mm. So you don't have any fear of rushing everybody because he can't get outside of you.
No.
If you lose containment, you catch him. He has no speed. That is killing them. And they don't have a running game, and their receivers they're just not, what's the word I'm trying to say? They're not
elite. They're good.
They're okay, but you can't depend on them. They're undependable. So, yeah, 49ers are going to shut them down. I think you look at the over-under, 37.5, that may be too many. I could see them winning this game 16-6, 16-3. 49ers minus 3.5.
All right, 49ers, Brock Purdy. I just want to put it on record.
He's not going to do anything. All he's going to do is not turn it over.
I just want to put it on record. You're picking Brock Purdy to beat Tom Brady.
I'm not picking Brock Purdy to beat Tom Brady. I'm picking the 49ers to beat the Bucs.
When we were down at OU watching Brock Purdy, he was at Iowa State, but when he would come to OU, did you ever think he would be in the NFL?
No, and I didn't think I would ever pick a team he's quarterbacking against Tom Brady either. But Tom Brady, I'm not saying Tom Brady is aged or he has, but he doesn't have the type of team he's got to have.
Yeah.
The offensive line's not very good. They can't run the ball. And the San Francisco defense is going to eat him up, I think.
You would think they would, yes.
They may hurt him, So.
You would think, yeah. Maybe not hurt him, but you would think they're gonna have him.
It could. I mean, he's pretty brittle.
Right.
He's going to get some shots on him, I think.
Okay, all right. San Francisco wins. We're not going to call for the death of Tom Brady on this show. We've already picked Brock Purdy, so we're not going to do. Okay, let's go on. Panthers are going to take on the Seahawks at Seattle. I almost fell out of my chair when I saw this line. Seattle is only a 3.5-point favorite, which tells you Vegas doesn't like Seattle. No. I think they're going to cover, but I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I think so. I think that line, the over-under might be too high because, the Panthers aren't going to score much. You got to figure they're going to get about 10.
Yeah,
maybe 13. Seattle's got to score, 30 to beat you.
Mm-hmm.
So, no, I'm with you. That's shocking. Seattle doesn't blow anybody out. That's one thing. But I'm going Seattle minus 3.5.
I gotta agree with Curtis. I said it in a group chat with my fantasy league. They were talking about Brock Purdy's gonna be the quarterback, blah blah blah, and I said he's the worst college quarterback that was, quote unquote good that I've ever watched. Right? Like you always had to hide up. Brock Purdy's back, and they're gonna be really good, and then you'd watch him. It's like he is awful. So you could always count on Brock Purdy to turn the ball over late to cost them a game every time they were in a close game. That's the thing. They blame the coach at Iowa State. He can't win a close game. Well, Brock Purdy, I mean, he had OU beat a few times, and he would just throw it right to us to end the game. So anyway, all right, 2 to go here. Dolphins and the Chargers. What is going to happen here? Dolphins are a 3.5-point favorite. The game is in Los Angeles, though. Chargers, I mean, you just never know from game to game. Any clue what could happen in this game?
No, none whatsoever. 2 weeks in a row for Miami out on the West Coast. I'm assuming they stayed out there probably. I don't know that, but they're better than the Chargers. But I can see an upset.
It feels, and I am going to throw up right after I say this, it feels like a Chargers game they win, right? Like they've been shitty enough that they're not out of it, but they're kind of like they're in trouble. And now they're going to beat a good team like this just to lose probably to some loser down the road that has won like 4 games.
It kind of feels like a last stand game for them.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if they have the mentality, the guts, whatever you want to use the word, to have a last stand. I don't know whether they can do anything about it. I'm with you, but there's no way I'm betting this game. Not a chance in the world because you don't know what the Chargers are going to do. We do know they have the talent. They've got the talent to beat Miami at home. But I don't know that they can do it. So I'm staying away from it. If I had to pick it, I would pick the Chargers plus 3.5. Not sure they're going to win, though.
Same. Chargers plus 3.5. Not sure they're going to win. I'm with you. I can't do it. And I can't bet. I can't bet the Chargers. But if you made me take a side, it's just logical that they're going to cover 3.5. So, all right, final one of the day on Monday night, Patriots and the Cardinals. The Patriots are a 1.5-point favorite on the road here against Arizona. This is another one I really struggled to try to figure out what's going to happen.
Impossible. Look at the home record of the Cardinals. 1-6.
That's why I took New England.
I'm taking New England. It's a must game for them. The coaching's not even close.
Yeah.
It's arguable, but I think they're better than the Cardinals. They got a better team. And the Cardinals don't care where they're playing. They suck anywhere. See, they're 3-2. 3-2 on the road. And 1-6 at home.
I think the Cardinals have the better roster.
Probably.
But I like I said, sidelines, it's not even close. And do they give a shit? Meter is definitely favoring the Patriots.
Right. The Patriots' schedule's tough. They still have a shot, though. They win this game. They're one game over 500. Let's say Buffalo beats the Jets. The Jets and the Patriots have the same record.
Yep.
So I am going Patriots just because of what's on the sidelines.
Curtis says, future Nick Saban assistant Cliff Kingsbury, last game in the NFL? Question mark.
Very good, Curtis. That's pretty good.
He would fit well.
Yeah. He's a screwball, though. I don't know. I don't know if Saban won him on his staff, to be honest.
It almost kind of feels like he might be one to take a year off and kind of, I don't know, retool or something. He looked tired to me.
I can't believe they haven't fired him yet. I'm shocked.
I can't either. It's really shocking.
Right out the season, I think. I don't think they're going to fire him.
Well, every week I'm like, okay, this is the week. And then it's like, oh, he survived, so it is what it is. All right. That's the lineup. That's all for this week. I've got another show at 3:00, blinkers off, special guest Magic. That's right. Curtis will be on. Yes. And it's a must-watch show. Curtis has something special lined up for the show. So,
and you guys are doing Gulfstream?
No. He is going to Magic's. He's got Gulfstream at 4:00 for the Magic Mike show.
Okay, that's right.
We are doing blinkers off at 3:00.
So Jared's not going to do it.
Jared is not. Yeah, he is not going to be on blinkers off this week. Right. It will be Magic, and we're going to draw for our fantasy league draft position, and Magic's got a little something special, and we're also going to do some stakes coverage and maybe a little bit of Derby coverage too. So
it'll be fun with Magic. He's not that it's not fun with Jared, but it'll be fun with Magic because you never know what in the hell he's going to do.
Tune in, because I do know something he's going to do, and you're going to be like, "What in the hell?" You need to watch it. I'm serious. It's going to be funny. So
I won't watch it live, but I'll go back and do it on YouTube.
You need to do it. I have a feeling this video will be played.
A stupid, naive, silly little goose.
Yeah, I would. It's 3-5. That's going to be played.
Yes, if Michael wants to set the odds on that, it'll be 3-5.
Maybe even go down to 1-5.
Yeah,
unless Magic just saw this.
No, he's not watching, I'm sure. All right. Okay, like I said, I got to get out of here pretty quick, but I do have a time for maybe one question.
I got 2 left.
Okay, we'll do 2 of them then. That's fine.
And one of them is real easy.
Okay.
They both are. What's your least favorite type of music?
Least favorite type of music.
Mm-hmm.
I like all music. Least favorite. What's your least favorite type, Heather? Least favorite type of music? Techno? I don't like techno. I'd say techno.
I don't even know what that is.
It's just dumb sounds. You don't like heavy metal, like screaming. Yeah.
You don't like screaming? Well, it's easy for me.
Okay.
Rap. I'm sorry. I'm not young. Every song sounds exactly the same.
Rap. Yeah, well, that made Heather chuckle.
Exactly the same. I don't like hip hop or hop hip. No, I don't understand it, but
okay.
I'll tell you another thing. One more thing.
Oh, I don't know. Okay.
Getting to the point where I can't understand a word some of these people are saying in these songs. And I'm
not even just rap, hip hop at all songs, you're saying.
Yeah, this guy, this Post Malone. Okay, we used to have, like, in the fall, basketball, when football's going on, and a lot of our kids were playing football, we'd have open gym for the 5 or 6 that weren't, and they would let them play music, whatever. And they put him on, and I swear, I thought it was Japanese. I couldn't understand a word he was saying. He had one song,
a different language.
I got the Suicide out. He had a song, I think it was Suicide.
Suicide, yeah, baby. I don't know.
I get that one. I got that word. That was the only one I heard. And I asked Isaiah, he's the one playing. I said, is this English? So anyway, all right, rap. Can't stand it.
Okay, all right. Next.
I don't like country music like I used to. I don't like, it's not country anymore.
I will say current country music is complete garbage.
Yeah, I don't care for it.
Complete garbage.
I don't like that hickey stuff either, but it's gone away too much. It's more pop than it is.
That's just it. It's not really country anymore.
Yeah, every song sounds pretty much the same.
Yeah.
All right, last one.
Okay.
You won $1 million in the lottery. What would you spend it on?
Ooh. $1 million in the lottery. What would I spend it on? Well, I'd give it to Heather, and then she would spend it on what?
Okay.
Boy, that's tough.
Do you realize in today's world, you can spend $1 million really quick?
I know. Yes.
Yeah.
That's why you honestly, yeah, Heather said we'd just put it in savings probably. We wouldn't spend it.
Well, every bill you got.
Gosh.
Right.
Yeah. We were talking, we went to the Blues game and had a good time, and really, we sat down really low, and it was just a different experience, and we thought, how cool would it be if if we lived closer, we could go to all the Blues games. So maybe go get Blues season tickets and then rent a place where we could stay for a few months during the season. How about that?
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
That'd be fun. There's no way I could be a season ticket holder to a baseball game or hockey or NBA because they play too many games.
Yeah, that's just it.
It's impossible.
We were looking at season tickets. It's like, oh, we could do that. And it's like, you could make 4 games because we live so far away.
Yeah. Even if I lived in the city, I couldn't do them all.
Oh, yeah, that's true because you get busy, you got other stuff going.
Stuff comes up. I mean, in baseball, you got 81 of them.
Yeah.
It's impossible.
But you get 41 games of hockey. You would feel like you need to at least go to 30 of them, and it'd be tough to do.
And then you run the risk of them being bad in that last 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
You might have 14 games that last 2 months. You go, I don't want to go see this crap.
Yeah,
because it is a hassle to go. It really is. I mean, you've got to get there early. You got to find a place to park. It's not easy.
Well, I would say that, and then I would also, the hassle of parking is a mess too. And then I would say we're looking for a new car currently, so I'll say that as well.
I would pay off everything I owe, which isn't much. I would donate some of it. Okay, pay off everything I owe. That wouldn't be much. No, it's not. Thank goodness. I don't owe money on much. I'd sock away some.
Yeah.
And I think I'd give if I had, depends on what I had left, and I probably would after I socked away some. I'd blow some. I would put at least $150,000 to St. Jude's.
That's the best charity. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I would do. Or I may donate $150,000 there, $75,000 to an animal shelter.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah, because that's my two biggies. So,
yeah, I think that would be good. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because
there you go. Hopefully you win it.
No, you can't win it if you don't buy it.
That's true. It's true.
And I'm not buying them because you might as well just piss out $20, $2, whatever it is.
Yeah, you're right about that. Yes,
yeah,
I don't play it either.
So. Anyway, that's it.
All right. Well, we usually do a couple more, but we're not today because we have another show coming up in, let's see, not great at math, 43 minutes from now. Blinkers Off will come on. It'll be Magic and I having a fun little show for you. We'll do about a 40-minute show. We got a condensed show, but a fun one for you. Don't want to miss. Magic's gonna be really good on that one. I promise you that. So Blinkers Off coming on now, 42 minutes away. We'll talk about some stakes action as well. And then right after Blinkers Off, Magic Mike will do the late pick 4 at Gulfstream Park for Saturday. So 2 more big shows coming up. All right, guys, we're getting out of here. Good luck if you're playing this weekend. And if you're going to Oaklawn or even if you're just playing it, have fun, guys. It's going to be a very good week. All right, guys. See ya.
This is Due to Bet Sports. Due to Bet Sports, it's your favorite show. Due to Bet Sports, where degenerates go. Due to Bet Sports, time to change your approach with Aaron Holderman and his father, the coach. Let's ride.
Well, the Associated Press is full.